How did you find acting with Matt? I suppose it's the first time.
It was absolutely the first time. Well, exactly like you've just said. I mean, Matt has just this incredible enthusiasm for the role, but and life. But he's an incredibly hard worker. I mean, they are working these crazy schedules they're working to, as well as then preparing for the next episode while they're shooting the current one. But as a guest, he's just the most perfect host. He and Karen and Arthur were just phenomenally, generous with their welcome, and really go out of their way to make sure you're feeling comfortable and all the rest of it, because they could just sort of be. I mean, they're obviously so pooped that they could easily just sort of go, but they really were terrific. Very warm hosts, and it made for a great atmosphere on set.
Did it, yeah?
Working under these very hard conditions, just punishing schedules for them, for the crew, and everything.
Yeah. And how long were you down there? And how long did the shoot take?
I guess so. Well, we did 3 days on a ship in Cornwall, in Charlestown, where these wonderful old ships are moored, and then we did. I guess I was there for 2 weeks in the studio.
Right, and so tell me about the ship and everything. That sounds.
Well, it's all set. This episode is set pretty much entirely on this pirate ship, and for various reasons to do with the TARDIS ends up on board our ship because the Doctor has it has programmed itself to come onto our ship for various reasons that become apparent during the story, and so I, of course, in my role as a 17th century pirate and. Or hang on, 17th century or 16th century?
17th.
17th. I was saying 16th. Can you make sure they get the correction?
Yeah.
It's 17th century pirate.
Okay.
I am, of course, I'm furious that this strange person has arrived, and I'm obviously a very vicious, nasty pirate captain.
So you're in port somewhere, or you out?
So no, we're becalmed at sea.
You becalmed. Oh right.
And this is a crucial part of the story that the Doctor comes and upsets our equilibrium. And so, of course, he's got to walk the plank, and that's the end of the Doctor. Or is it?
Very good.
The story revolves really around a mythical sea creature played by Lily Allen, who is giving me and my crew. Lily Allen. Sorry.
Lily Allen.
Sorry. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Very different. Lily Cole, who is this mythical sea creature who gives me and my crew is giving us a run for our money. And the Doctor very much, comes to try and find out what's going on and see if he can sort things out.
And are there lots of effects lots of CGI in this episode?
I guess there will be, but there's also awful lot of live action, and Karen Gillan gets the lion's share of that, or the lioness's share of that. She does all the swashing and buckling, and swings from the riggings, and does sorts of sword fighting. And I just sort of swan around in the background with a pistol, looking a bit bemused. So yes, it's very much a young man's game, this episode.
So no fighting, no cutlasses from you then?
Well, there are, and there are not for me personally, but that's a rather key. It's a significant key in the story. The whole notion of fighting and what the weapons can do, and that's part of the story. That's a bit I can't really give away, but it's. No, it's a wonderful episode, which I found reading it just as an outsider, because it's the range of tone within it. It's very funny in parts, as all these.
Is it one of Stephen's?
No, it's not Stephen Moffat. It's Stephen Thompson who's written it,
right.
Who wrote some of Sherlock as well. And so it ranges from really quite camp comedy, not camp comedy, but camp adventure, if you like, with her swinging through the rigging, as I say, to really quite poignant and dark thoughts, dark themes. To do with responsibility and mortality and that sort of thing.
Gosh, it's rather deep for
it is.
Doctor Who.
Well, I think that's
although
the
Matt
thing.
yesterday was talking about how there are moments of loneliness in this series,
yes.
which I found odd. So I wonder if there's a
I get the feeling that
tone of the whole thing.
Well, I think the feeling I get, not knowing the other episodes, but the feeling I get about the whole sort of series arc, if you like, and Moffat's ambition for the show, is that it does address really quite big, universal dark themes, as well as being a roistering adventure along the way. And each episode is so different. I mean, episodes 1 and 2 being set in the 60s in America, or certainly some of it, and my episode being set in the 17th century. The canvas is so broad and open that I think writers are queuing up to write for Doctor Who, and the very best. And so it's the bar is very high, and the themes are so big and can go anywhere. So I think there's an overarching theme, from what I can gather, to do with questioning mortality and identity and who we are within the universe.
Isn't it great? We can get this in a tea time drama.
Well, I know it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think if you think about when it was rebooted, however 6-7 years ago, to where it is now and the place it has in the nation's heart. I think there's such sort of latitude that Stephen and the writers have been given or are striving for, that it makes it a really exciting show to be part of. And my little bit was I was just so thrilled to be in that mix.
And did you agree to it before you read the script, or how did it come about that you did it?
Well, I've been pretty much sending bribes and postcards and flowers to the Doctor Who team for the last 5 years, and finally they found a part that fitted. So now I was sent a script, and within a few pages I was completely hooked, and said yes, pretty much immediately. Yeah.
And have you played a part? Have you done?
I'm trying to think. I don't think I have.
You haven't done Panto. Do you do Panto?
I've done Panto. I played the Dame in Panto, but I haven't done a pirate in Panto. No, I don't think I have. I sort of feel I've worn that sort of frock before, but no. The key thing was to try and avoid looking like Johnny Depp, since he's now cornered the market in swashbuckling pirates. So
how does one do a different pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean? It's very they covered the whole breadth of pirates.
I know. Well, we had a wonderful director, Jeremy Webb, who really just wanted to make a distinctive tone and avoid all the cliches. So there's no parrots, no wooden legs, no Cornish accents. There's a bit of sort of faces that you would come out of central casting. For you could guess them in a lineup as pirates. Yeah. But no, it's trying to make it very, very sort of true to a human story rather than a cartoon.
And were you a fan of Doctor Who? Is this something? I mean, clearly you were happy and wanted to get and play it. But when you were younger, did you?
Completely.
Did you get
absolutely. No, I like millions of others, I was. Well, my Doctor Who was John Pertwee, and I remember going around to my grand's every Saturday afternoon, and final score, and a cup of tea would come out, and then I'd go and take up my position behind the sofa and wait for that music and that logo to sort of disappear before I could peek out. So I remember some Cybermen and obviously the Daleks and John Pertwee's outfit. And I think his early ones might have been black and white, or is that just my memory? I don't know.
No, they probably were.
But and I can remember the later ones when he got slightly more velvety and camper with these sort of ruched shirts going on, which were in colour. But from my memory, or maybe I saw the end of Patrick Troughton, it must have been, and then into John Pertwee. But anyway, so no, very much a childhood memory.
Yeah, I was amazed yesterday seeing the Cybermen sort of acting as it were, just how intimidating they are as a sort of monster. Did you always find that?
Completely, and I think what probably
there's not much to them electronically or any wizardry sort of way. But
no, I think no. It's just the image of And I remember there was a whole sequence which must have been shot around the arches of somewhere around Southwark or underneath London Bridge Station, with these big arches and these sort of creatures walking through the road. That's another memory from my childhood, and of course all the chalk pit sequences with the great late lamented Brigadier, etc., which were so evocative and have little snapshots in my brain. But now I think, a lot of the things that are disturbing about the themes in Doctor Who are just intellectual. Like the Weeping Angels from the last series. Yeah. That whole thing of do things move when you're not looking at them, and they stop when all that, which are grown-up fears and uncertainties and worries.
So why do you think he's so enduring in every respect? It doesn't.
I don't know. It's hard to put a finger on, isn't it? But I think there is something. There's a Peter Pan element. I think that Doctor Who is the boy in all of us. That the boy who never grew up, sort of thing, and that sense of being able to travel through time and space, and that's again why the writers have such fun, I think, and such can really flex their muscles in terms of trying out new stories, new ideas, and so on. So it's a great playground for writers and producers and for the cast.
And so, how are you feeling about your career at the moment? It seems fantastic. You're doing. Have you reached a sort of new peak? I mean.
I don't know. I don't.
Do you look at things in terms like that?
No, not at all. No, I just feel incredibly lucky to be working. Frankly, just managed to inch through the recession. No, I'm extremely blessed to be able to do something like Downton and then be invited to do something like Doctor Who and then have a complete contrast with something like 2012, which is this.
Called that. Yes,
spoof documentary that started. Yeah. So no, I'm really lucky, and I'm working a lot, but it's nice to be in work. So.
Are you good at choosing? It seems like you're good at choosing the right sort of project, do you agonise over things like that, or is it just a gut thing? You read the script and off you go.
It's usually a gut. It's entirely a gut thing on reading the script. Or in the case of 2012, when you just hear the name John Morton who wrote it, you just say yes without saying anything because you know that it's going to be great. And similarly, pretty much with Doctor Who. With Downton Abbey, I'd worked with Julian on a film a couple of years previously, and he told me the bare bones of the story, and I thought this sounds really, really interesting, and sort of badgered them to let me see a script as soon as possible. And I there were other things that were around, but I said no, I'm going to hold out because I know this is about to be ready, and I'd like to have, as it were, first refusal. But there's no great plan in any actor's life. The only plan is to take the next cab that comes along.
But it must feel very satisfying for you, though, to get to this point where you've done a big series like Downton, and then
it's
other
lovely.
projects.
It's never satisfying. I'm never complacent about the work because now the pressure is on for series 2 of Downton to be just as strong as series 1. So we've got this. So the bar is raised each time, and I'm sure Matt, must have felt the same when he took over from David. They're big shoes to fill, and series 2 of Downton is big shoes from series 1, etc. So no, I never really feel that there's time to take foot off the gas and say, hey, it's all fine. It never is.
And are you quite critical of your own work? I mean,
well, the great thing is, whenever I see myself, I don't mind seeing myself on TV because I know that I'm 6'2", muscle bound, and look like Brad Pitt, and I see this lumpy 6'2" grey old man up there, and I know it's not me, so it's fine. Some people can't bear watching themselves, but I know.
James Corden yesterday just can't stand it.
Really,
You can't face it.
Mm. No, I
and you hear that
understand
increasingly, which I find surprising. It's like
I don't know. I've sort of got used to all my bumps and wobbles and everything else that goes about me. So, I'm not going to be able to sculpt it now. So I might as well accept that's the way I look and so on. And also, I'm fortunate enough to be involved, on the whole, in scripts that I'm really, really proud of and get really lost in as a reader when I first read them. And of course, the first time you see something, be it a film or a telly thing that you're involved in, you're thinking, oh, they've used that shot, or oh, they've cut that, or they've changed that. But then if I might see it again, and I saw Iris. There's a film I did called Iris, which I hadn't seen for ages, and I introduced it at the Minghella Film Festival, a little film festival on the Isle of Wight last weekend, and I hadn't seen it for probably 3-4 years. And I completely was lost in the story, and so I'm glad that I still have that capacity. Well, that was a very different role for you. I sort of recall it. No, I played the young Jim Broadbent in that, and it's all about Iris Murdoch's demise, I sort of distanced myself enough to be able to watch the story that's being created. I enjoy a busman's holiday, I think. I don't get put off too much.
And do you try? I mean, you're great at doing comedy, but are you always drawn to comedy roles, or do you look for drama roles where you can bring some comedy to it?
I don't know. I sort of yes. I mean, I'm glad you put it that way around, because often people say, "Oh, you only do costume dramas," which is not true. I mean, I love doing comedy, and I like to try and find a bit of lightness in if it's a heavy plodding script, but. I think Julian Fellowes writes with great wit as well as great depth of character. And as I say, Stephen Thompson has written with tremendous, well, not particularly necessarily for my character in this particular episode, but I love doing the contrast between filming Downton Abbey finishing on a Friday and then starting as we did 2012 on the Monday. I love the contrast because I'm more of a character actor, I suppose, than anything else. I love being able to sort of dot between the two. I'm not sort of too much branded in one area.
I suppose coming to a part like this, it's all on the page, isn't it? There's nothing more you can go with. Does that make it a little more challenging, or is it?
Well, no. When it's as well written as this, you sort of you just relish it, and it was fun creating the look of the character. And
did you have any say in that?
Yes, absolutely. No, with the costume designer, we spent a great day at the costumiers, picking out different tones and looks and what would work, what wouldn't, and so on. And so no, that's all part of the process that I really, really enjoy, actually.
Can you say anything about what you've ended up with as a costume about it? Is that all under wraps?
No, it's not particularly. No, it's just it is. I mean, you'd recognise me as a pirate. There's no question about that, and I've got my pistol and all the rest of it. But there's no eye patch, no wooden leg, and no parrot. So that's about it.
Jolly good. And because I suppose it's a little bit unusual for you to come into such an established production team like that. How did you find that?
Well, as I say, it felt incredibly easy because of the welcome one was given, and it is it feels like a very well-oiled machine that and it's constantly moving.
It seemed so professional yesterday.
Yeah,
they were getting
absolutely.
through it. It was.
Yeah, and of course they've got this
That
big
bit.
move next year to the Bay, to the new premises. But even in that slightly dank and unwelcoming industrial park, there's a sense of great industry going on. I just feel for them because they're coming towards the end of a pretty tight, tough, long shoot. But they kept their spirits up, as you saw. So it's a nice thing it was a lovely thing to be part of.
Yeah, and so what's up next for you? What are you
Well, we
doing?
started filming Downton Abbey about 2 weeks ago, and so we're in the thick of that till the midsummer.
And how's that coming along?
It's great. It's great. It's like on the one hand putting on familiar clothes. On the other hand, there's a sense of a new responsibility. Because it was so well received, we want to make it as good as and better than last time if we possibly can. The expectation is there and the hunger is there from the audience.
Yeah.
So we've got to keep our socks pulled up and keep aiming high.
And were you amazed at the reception for it? I mean, I think
Bowled over, completely staggered. None of us expected the way that it grew and grew into this Sunday night appointment that people owned. People wanted. How dare you?
it shows there's a real clamour for that sort of thing, wasn't
What
it?
it does, I think that what it's shown, as I've said elsewhere, is that there is an appetite for not ambitious drama, but drama that aims high in its production values and in its scripts and in its casting and all that sort of thing. And it's a multi-stranded storyline, call it a soap if you like, that has somehow caught the imagination of lots of people.
Yeah.
It's a lovely thing to I don't know how. If you could bottle why it caught on, we'd all be millionaires. But it's just one of those things. It's a well-made show that came out at the right time with an audience and found an audience that took it to its heart. And
Yeah.
we're incredibly proud and grateful that it happened.
Well, we all love it. And,
Good.
good luck with everything. Good luck with the Doctor Who.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bill.
Just about to end you.
Think about that, 16 minutes and 50...
How about that?
That is
You're